Hey, how you guys doing? I hope you guys are good. Welcome to Phie.Love Intuitive Conversations. Do you like my content? Do like, share, and subscribe? Okay. And any negativity, keep it on your side of the street, okay? I want to just put a little bit of lip gloss on. Excuse me. So, what am I talking about here today? So today we're talking about something that's more in the realm of women's understanding, but I think it is something that definitely men can think about too, and definitely share and have a perspective on, because, you know. So I'm being guided to bring up the topic about things like natural birth. What do you mean, Phie? How dare you talk about natural birth? You're not a doctor. Yeah, I'm not a doctor, but I have a fucking opinion about it, and I think it's an observation as well that many people have observed, but maybe haven't really wanted to speak up about, say anything about, because we give doctors so much power that we allow them to take away what is natural, what we are capable of doing, what we are built to do in so many aspects of life, okay? And I'm not saying I've never been to a doctor. I've been to a doctor many times. I've had surgeries. I've engaged doctors. I have. But what I'm talking about here today is more just about the idea of how we have allowed the system to take away our confidence within ourselves as women and our bodies and as humans to function and do things that are completely natural, and have normalized going the artificial route so heavily. Okay, it has been heavily normalized, and it has come from the people that we've been geared to put the most trust into. Okay, doing birth in a way that is natural. There's every reason under the sun nowadays as to why having an unnatural birth is more favorable to having a natural birth. And the list to having a natural birth outweighs, well, the list to the positivities of having a natural birth outweigh the list to not having a natural birth. In my opinion, not having a natural birth nowadays that is outside of the realm of emergency, where I just feel like for some reason emergency shows up at the end of every pregnancy in some way, shape, or form, okay? Or the necessity for an unnatural birth. I know it's a touchy topic for many, okay? But what I'm talking about and what I'm trying to gear us to here on this channel is, again, dependency free thinking and living, evolving and growing, okay? And that includes talking about these kinds of things that take us away from being confident in our ability to be dependent on ourselves. Nowadays, we don't even care to think anymore. You know, I feel like the opinion of a professional who has been book taught, or however they've been taught within a system that gives them their accreditation, right? But doesn't focus on the spiritual or on the natural reasons and aspects of doing things. They've completely wiped out the idea of us paying mind to a child being born on and at a time when their own soul, mind, and body chooses to do that. Instead, things are now manipulated towards a doctor's schedule, towards a certain kind of third-dimensional convenience. Everything natural in this world is being wiped away. Everything that makes us human, be it in the way we think, in the way we operate, in the way we move, in our capabilities, abilities, in how we process information, how we attune to, just like animals, attune to seasons and all kinds of things. Our perceptions have been taken over by a system that is geared towards feeding itself through our energy, through our focus. And our boundaries have become so weak and flimsy to the point that we allow the things that were valued, completely natural, and have their own purpose, like natural birth and everything that comes with it for mother and child, completely washed and wiped away, completely watered down in the perceptions of humanity, and the idea of convenience be made the top priority. Again, be it a schedule, be it lying flat on a bed. There's a lot of stuff you can get into online and research about the benefits to having a natural birth, or how it's important that mother and child experience certain things throughout the process of a natural birth that have just been wiped out completely, and don't actually even go into depth, or we aren't even taught about how sometimes that entire experience of birth between mother and child have a bigger purpose. The experience, it all has a bigger purpose on the shaping of the child, how a child over time and in their years as they grow up, how they are affected by certain things, how they process certain things, also just how a mother connects with her child, hormonally, chemically. There are so many things that have just that are part of the whole natural process that are completely necessary and needed for both mother and for child, that have been wiped off the table. And the idea of convenience, the idea of inability, the idea of making women believe that they're not capable anymore of doing it the natural way, and that the natural way is just an inconvenience. It is all over time a gradual brainwash that has bigger long-term effects on other things and the kinds of children and people that we are bringing into the society, and how they emotionally connect and with each other as well as with themselves. It might not be taught to us, it might not be fully understood or in the realm of people's perception with how things are going and what is being drilled in as normal and not so important anymore. That there are things that should be taken into consideration that are not. There are certain experiences that as women, even through childbirth, we're supposed to go through that help evolve the woman as an entire being, that add to her experience of being a human on this earth because of her capabilities, because of that adding to a very strong integral part of her growth and understanding, which again is just ripped away by the system and told and and groomed into believing that it's okay, we won't teach you about that, we won't tell you about it all, we won't get into depth about it. Those are just things. Of course, these are also very deep topics and debates one can get into between professionals and others who are geared more towards the natural way of life. And I know not many people will be happy that I'm openly talking about this. It may trigger some, but it's the truth, is it not? There are bigger reasons as to why we choose to come into this world on a specific date at a specific time that has just been taken away from kids. How many kids are out there now that have a birth date that isn't of their own choosing and isn't of their own time, but a birth date that has been moved towards some human being out there who has a time, a schedule, and his own priorities or her own priorities and commitments to see to. Someone's life, someone's choice, freedom of choice is taken away before they even hit the earth with their 2 feet. But we're brainwashed into believing that, okay, all these things are not important. They're not normal. They are important. They are normal. And they affect us all on a higher level, on a cosmic level, on a level that our souls have tried to come into this earth and try to fit themselves within this whole energetic frequency that we all have a place in at a specific time and date. But all of that is messed with, it's manipulated, it's man taking things into their own hands that over a longer period of time cause way bigger issues among societies. Because allowing some things to just go according to the natural order means that man would have to give up control in some way, shape, or form. And I think what I'm talking about right now is just one example of many, many things. Something to think about, huh? So, yeah, I guess maybe for this video, I'd like you to take a step back, as I would say, and consider the ways where being natural and being human has been taken over in your life or in society by control, by the system, by the say of someone else outside of you, by something outside of you making you feel like you're incapable when naturally you've been built to be capable. And I mean it on all levels. I don't just mean physically. I mean it mentally, spiritually, physically too. Do you ever consider where you are human? What parts of you are human? But they should be all human, right? But what parts of you has the system that you've been groomed in and made to exist in and indoctrinated by? What parts of you have been taken away? Or what parts of you have you been made not to acknowledge or made to believe are not important? Because by doing that, you step outside of yourself and your own ability to depend on yourself and move into a realm of outputting from yourself again into a system, financially, mentally, health-wise, physically, your attention. What you fill your mind with, what you expose yourself to, what you allow to trigger you, what you don't allow to trigger you. Where has your natural been taken away from you? Where has your human been taken away from you? And this again doesn't just apply to women, it applies to men too. And in everything I've spoken about today, okay, there are things you look, there are programs out there, there are things on TV that you can, there's not many of them because a lot of it is suppressed, because of course they'll suppress it because that means that people being uneducated or not having a broader perspective on these kinds of things means that the system has an upper hand, right? If people are educated about these things and take the time to ponder them and decide on all their options and think, you know what, do I really need to do it this artificial way? Or can I maybe just strengthen myself and become stronger and become stronger in another aspect of my life? Can I evolve in this aspect of my life? Am I prepared to push through a little bit of uncomfortable that is meant to help grow me, meant to help strengthen me, meant to make me more human and feel and be accomplished within myself, to pass something, an experience, down on to the next? Where have I allowed all my human to be taken away from me? And where have I allowed a perspective from the outside to take away something I should be embracing about myself, enhancing about myself, and teaching to the next generation that this is something you have as a human, this is something you can do, and this is something you will grow through and become better and stronger for it, because it's part of being a human. I hope this resonated with someone, and I'll pull a card and close the video up, okay? See the other person's point of view. Let's see what it has to say, okay? You have strong emotions about this situation, and you may feel upset, misunderstood, or used. This card comes to you as a pathway to peace by asking you to consider others' points of view. You don't need to agree with these other individuals. You're simply asked to understand their motivations and to have compassion for their feelings. This process can positively shift the energy of power struggles, much like letting go of a rope during a tug of war. As you see the other person's point of view, you open the door for creative solutions to enter. Additional meanings to this card: see yourself through the eyes of any person you desire to know or meet. Let go of defensiveness in your relationships. Look past the surface personality and see the divine within others. Forgive past hurts and start anew. So yeah, let us consider the perspective of other people's points of view. Let's consider the perspective of our children's points of view. What is right? What isn't right? What does your child deserve? What doesn't your child deserve? And what does my partner deserve? What don't I deserve? I mean, let us always consider the next person's point of view, okay? And let us not get so fixated on doing things the artificial way when there are many ways of also doing things for ourselves naturally. Okay? I hope this video resonated with you, and if you haven't hit the like, share, subscribe button on your way in, please do hit it on your way out, and I'll see you in the next video.